as well as from the defense PSUs. So end user is giving their requirements, and now with the help of say, okay, I'm giving you 20 CR right now. Okay, I want a 40% of stake in your company. Will you say yes?
No, ma'am. No, sir.
Because first thing is, if you say yes, you are having the 20 CR, but there is no scope for the further expansion. Second, so this is the one thing. But yeah, if someone is coming and he is saying that I'm giving you a 20 CR and I'll get a 5% equity, so will you say yes?
Yes.
Yes. So directly yes, or okay.
Negotiate.
One thing is, investor will do the due diligence on its basis. So basically, that is he is identifying that you are the right fit for him or not. But how you will identify that investor is right fit for you or not?
On what he brings on the table, his expertise.
Okay.
Yeah.
So maybe he don't have any expertise. He
But
is
he
a
has
good,
contacts.
He is a good businessman.
Okay.
He knows how to run a business.
Yeah. So that way he can help in running the business.
But so okay. So these sort of challenges comes when you are in the technology business. So maybe that person is coming. Maybe that person is making, say, not 20, he says, okay, I'll give you 30 CR. That's fine, close the deal with the 5%. But then it comes like what sort of knowledge that person is having in that particular area. So maybe कल को आप electric vehicle बना रहे हो and कोई FMCG वाला आके बोलता है कि ठीक है, I'm investing in you. So what happens when you are expanding your company? तो जो उसका growth strategy होगा, उसमें that person will be a
Roadblock, right?
because he is not giving the valid inputs, but he is also restricting you to growing.
Yeah.
Okay, so these are the various factors which incubation center with the help of strategies and team members identify for the startups and support them to connecting with the right mentor, right investor, and so how right customer. Market validation, target audience, market validation, target audience, and so there is a very simple concept. Everyone is not your customer, right? So अगर मैं कुछ भी बना रहा हूँ उसके लिए एक particular target audience होगा. So that I have to identify. One is total addressable market, one is आपका serviceable market. So you have to identify that serviceable market itself. कि कितना percentage market है जिसको आप cater कर सकते हो. So for example, if I am saying that I am working in the automotive industry is maybe a very big industry having like a large CAGR and everything. But then itself I have to identify that maybe if I am working on just a fuel component or I am working on just a carbonator part. Okay, so in that case my target audience is not everyone. I can just go and sell to either the manufacturers or something like that only. Okay, so the course and everything which provides. So additionally, what else incubation center is providing? Maybe in terms of space, in terms of machinery. So right now, I'll give you a. You can consider it as a case study or something like that. So for example, if any startup is coming into the FITT, okay, what we are doing is we have made such collaborations with different labs, different testing agencies, as well as all the labs or equipments available with the IIT Delhi itself. So if any of our startup require any sort of technical mentoring, what we do is we connect them with the technical expert. So IIT Delhi faculties are a known face in the whole our country, or they are having the number of applications or everything. Proven research areas or proven technical knowledge in the world. So a known face is having with them that is actually helping them to develop their product. So maybe in terms of product designing, and everything, all sort of support that particular faculty member is providing them. Now next is okay, चलो मैंने design कर लिया, उसके बाद में I want to make a prototype of that. I want to build something. How I will do that? I don't have lab. मेरा AR/VR based product है, and I am going to have a research lab in that. What will happen? It will cost me around 2 to 3 CR to arrange all the workstation and everything. So I am going to expend that money. If you are having that, then okay, मतलब बहुत सारा पैसा तो कर लो, कोई इशू नहीं है. But yeah, at the startup phase, at the initial level, you don't have that much of funding. So now the incubation center again comes into the role. We are having partners with the IIT Delhi labs itself and other testing agencies in the Delhi NCR and everything. Okay, so what you can do is you can go there, you can build their product there, and you can test and validate. Okay, so that sort of facility is also provided by incubator. What after that? You develop the prototype. Now what? Now you, in that case, we are at the incubation. So now understand your market in a better scenario. What next? Deployment. So deployment is also part of your operations. That also be taken care by the business mentor itself. Okay, but what we miss is marketing. Marketing, yes. So what we missed is how you will develop that product. Where from where you will get the money. One, what are the funding structures? One is obviously you will bootstrap your startup. Okay, but up to what level? You don't have a pool of money or you just throw it. Okay, so in that case, incubation's various grants or schemes for that. So for example, on the very initiation level, when you are having just the product development stage only. So in that case, there are some different grants such as have you heard about Nidhi Prayas? Yes. Yeah. So Nidhi Prayas is one. Your BIG for biotech startups is one, and Pfizer program is one. So there are some CSR programs also. So incubation made the collaboration with the CSR and arranged the funding for the incubatees. So that is the one thing how they support the startups. So you have arranged the funding on a very initial level. You develop the product. You build the team, because building the team is very important part. You cannot go alone in a journey. Okay, because so maybe you are developing a software. You cannot write a code of 400 pages, 500 pages by yourself. You need a team for that, and you need a team in such a way that you can trust on that team. You can rely on that team, and the team should be always supportive. It's not like that if you are giving them a 10 LPA package. So at the startup you cannot give them a 10 LPA package. But yeah, if you have somehow managed to give them a 10 LPA package and tomorrow someone is giving them 12, that does not work. Because maybe that person in that company is a resource, but in your team, it's a key member on whom your complete development is dependent. So while choosing your team, while selecting your team, it becomes very important to identify who will be the right person for your team so that he can add the value in your team. Okay. As well as there is one more factor where incubation center also helps is identifying the co-founder. Why you think co-founder is important? I can run my own company. What is in that? I don't want
need the expertise in each and every department, from starting from marketing, tech, and operations. So every startup I think we 4 to 5 co-founders so that we can cover each and every aspect. Like some people can some people can handle, it's a co-founding team you can say. So they can handle operations, some can handle the tech side. So whenever we go to the investors, so we can, if they ask me something related to tech, so that the tech co-founder can answer for it.
So why I need a co-founder? I am the founder. I will build a team in such a way there will be one CEO, one CFO.
Because we can't handle everything at our own, because as a team we can manage it.
No, but that CEO, CFO and COO is handling those operations, finance and execution. Chalo, I handle one more also CM, Chief Marketing Officer. Why need a co-founder?
He will be responsible. He will have some responsibilities of the organization. He will be a go-to person. So there should be some core members of the staff.
From starting we have founder, but as we look after the CEOs, CTO, CMO, they are more of like a service lawyer for them. But as a co-founder, we have in the starting we have to select, and we gone through that journey so we can just easily.
Okay. So basically, when you are finding a co-founder or a co-founding members for your team, it becomes very important that they have the same vision, they have the same passion, same zeal, what you are having for that particular product. Because if you are developing a product, maybe you have a fascinating image of that product. but it's not important that that fascinating image or like for every design doctors the best product in the world.
सही बात है.
But in the real world scenario, it is not always true. So co-founder comes with a different perspective also. He gives you that particular vision that you cannot have. So basically, he will say you, okay, we are doing the right, we are providing a right solution for the problem, but maybe the 40% of the solution is enough for the current market. Rest 60% we can go into the different phases so that we can improve our solution day by day or provide a different segments to a customer. So that is just a one part. So like these sort of things, like these sort of expertise or the same vision that comes with the co-founding member. Because like if you are starting your startup, I completely agree that you are having 100% technical knowledge, you are good in your areas and everything. Okay, so you will develop the product. But so basically there is a term that you can go and check. So value analysis and value engineering. Okay, so that becomes a very important concept when you are developing a product. But if you are just a tech person, you can develop the 100% product. Okay, in a best way, because you want to develop your technology in a 100% efficient and best manner. But it won't happen in such a way that it is a 100% better product for the market. That perspective comes from a different segment. Okay, so there are a number of reasons so that you want to have a co-founder for a different perspective, for the different expertise which you think you are lacking. So basically that co-founder will be a complementary to founding member. Okay, so identifying team, identifying co-founder, providing connects in that areas. So that becomes an important thing. So incubation center also provide these sort of services, these sort of helps to the startups. Okay, so you secured your seed funding also, you understand your market, customer and everything. Now what next? Now you want to grow into the market. Okay, so growing into the market is completely depends on the funding part. Now you need more and more funding, the investor connects and everything. Okay, but how you will get the investor connect? So what is the first thing the investor will see in your company?
Potential.
Potential of what?
Product.
Product, service,
Potential of founder.
potential of founder,
Current user base.
current user base,
Market value.
Demand.
demand,
ROI.
ROI.
Growth perspective.
Sorry,
How much the product can, the company can grow.
growth perspective.
Scalability.
Scalability. So when a company is leaving from the incubation center or in the incubation center, honestly I'll say if you are in the D2C segment or something like that, you will have some sort of revenue. But in the technology market where your development cycle is itself minimum 12 months, having a revenue cycle in this area is very difficult. So in these sort of deals or in these sort of investment, the first thing investor asks for is what is your team strength? That is the first question of the investor. Who is in your team? How you are going to build a product with that team? How you are going to grow or scale your market with that team? And what sort of traction you have generated right now? So traction is not something you have sold, you have generated revenue. Traction is something like people are endorsing your product. They are accepting that yes, your product is creating a value in that particular segment. Okay, that's why you have identified that total addressable market also, right? So these are the major supports which incubation center provide. So, uske alawa like some incubation centers have their own buildings or like the office space and everything. So the subsidized office space or sitting areas and everything are the one thing. And except that they provide the prototyping facilities. So for example, here we are collaborated with all the IIT Delhi labs, but as well as we are developing our own semiconductor testing labs or high-end testing labs for our incubated startups. So these are the various facilities which incubation centers provide. Okay. Yeah, and that's how. So it's again we are adding some value to the startup's journey. So that becomes our responsibility or So we are also selling the services. Okay, so in that case, our services measured in terms of the success of the startup or success of the entrepreneurship ecosystem overall. Okay, so yeah, these are the various points. So if you guys have any sort of queries, random questions, anything, I'll be happy to answer.
Angel investors are
They can be, but generally, so angel is someone who is coming in a very early stage. So maybe in terms of incubation center, someone incubation can also have some connects with the angels. They can directly invest in your startup, but it's not a formalized thing.
but incubation simply usually helps the startups in early ages to help.
Yes.
Like,
So I got your point. But connecting with the angel is become somewhere complicated. क्योंकि चलो वो आपको पैसा दे रहा है, but what he is giving you against that money, that becomes a very difficult. So that's why there are various grants or seed schemes of the government of India itself, so that angel part can be minimized up to a certain level. So for example, in Niti Seed Support Scheme, incubator can get up to 1 CR funding. So up to 1 CR funding, you don't have to go to any angel or something. But after 1 CR, you can automatically go with the VC. So that part has been minimized.
What's the selection pattern?
So for incubation, what we see is your idea. So first thing is you are not creating a problem for creating a solution with a problem non-existing. Okay, so that is the one major thing. The problem which you have selected, that should be a realistic problem. Second is the solution which you are providing that can be actually developed, and it's not like a hypothetical situation. So when you say that I'm going to run a vehicle on the hydrogen fuel itself, that is a right now hypothetical situation, because you cannot handle the energy generated by the hydrogen itself. Okay, so what is the problem statement? What is your how feasible your proposed solution is? What is the background and everything of the founder, and do they have a team or not? And yeah, so these are the major parameters. And after that, it comes like what is your target market, how you are going to enter that target.
Okay.
Anything else? No. No. So how many of you are going to have a startup or have thought of that?
I have one.
You have one right now, right? That is it.
Yeah.
If you can share.
Yeah, we are making a product in fintech industry.
Okay. Great. Anyone else who is going to do? You want to share? Maybe इनमें से कोई co-founding member मिल जाएगा यार. That's fine. So anyone else? You or something? You want to share?
yeah, I
Okay.
yeah.
They are your classmates, okay?
So it's like it's a service platform,
Okay.
but it is like integrating all the small businesses which have come up on during the time of Corona on social media platforms like Instagram or Facebook or WhatsApp. So we are trying to create a platform where we can put up these small businesses and ask them to, first we are taking the registration process and then create a website and then app.
Okay. So how it is different from Amazon?
See, in Amazon what happens is if a small business tries to enter Amazon, first of all Amazon runs a background check. You have to have that way down the in the market. And you need to have, firstly you need to have, okay, second point I'll tell you, because since you are not established, your brand is not established, Amazon already gives heavy discounts on brand items. So why would somebody take your products on Amazon when nobody knows about your business or small business? So we have taken another platform for only small business owners who can grow their business visibility audience.
Great.
And we name it Telegram. It's on Instagram. You guys can follow.
You guys can follow that. can mentor to them also.
Yeah, thank you.
Anyone else?
सर एक क्वेश्चन
Yes.
जैसे कि सर मेरे एक स्टार्टअप है, ठीक है, मैं आपके पास या मतलब मैं सिलेक्शन प्रोसेस में जाता हूँ और आप लोग मुझे सिलेक्ट कर लेते हो और फिर आप लोग मुझे कॉन्टैक्ट से मतलब सीड मनी जो भी है इन्वेस्टर वगैरह उन सबसे कॉन्टैक्ट करके 1 साल 2 साल 3 साल जितने साल या जितने महीने लगते हैं मेरा स्टार्टअप सक्सेसफुल हो जाता है, ठीक है, फिर मतलब फिर तो मैं इंडिपेंडेंट हो गया उसके बाद, तो इसमें आप लोगों को क्या क्या फ़ायदा होगा? जैसे इंक्यूबेशन सेंटर है उसको क्या फ़ायदा होगा?
We are investors.
Investors.
आप ही लोग करते हैं।
So yeah, so फायदा क्या है? It's first thing is so we are having some sort of seed support schemes through government initiatives. Okay, so to make the so basically incubation's motive is not to generate profit. Its motive is to generate the successful startups. Okay, so for that Government of India has some initiative, and through Government of India initiatives we are running some schemes or programs. So under that program to make the incubation center self-sustainable, they have created some sort of pipelines or some sort of equity-based investment allowance to incubation center. So if I feel that your startup is going to is investable or you can have a good journey in the market, definitely that angel round can be done by the incubation through that scheme. So you also know that the right people are coming in onto your board. We are not having any sort of stake on your cap table, and you are free to make your own decision. We are here to guide you. And at the end of the incubation, or we feel that you have made a subsequent like a subsequent growth or something like that, we will take an exit from your company. So now you are free to raise more funds, or maybe when we are connecting you with the further ventures or investors who are getting more on your table, then we will take an exit, because we know that all incubation centers know that every investor want a clean slate for the further investment to make that company grow. So incubation centers take the exit in a very early, like 2 or 3 years. So we are not making profits, but yeah, also we have to manage our operations and everything.
Yeah.
So that becomes these things are value addition. Anything?
Would you provide the licensing part for the startups and then for the fintech industry we need semi-closed wallet license, but for that we need around capital of 25 to 30 lakhs for a plan. So it doesn't make any sense because we are at the starting age. So what we are trying to do is like we are looking for some of the collaborations with big banks or NBFC so that we can get a license on the lead, or we can just launch our product under their name.
Okay.
So in that case, like if we support,
So that is some sort of corporate connects. Yeah. So yes, that is also one part which incubation centers provide. They connect you with the relevant industries. So basically these can be your strategic partners also. So maybe in terms of certifications, maybe loan licensing sort of things. So for example, in fintech, you are saying that particular certification is required. In the same case for medical device industry, there is one GMP certification and ISO 13485 is required. So for that, for a small company to take that becomes a very hectic criteria, because they have to have a manufacturing facility. First, that manufacturing facility itself has to have a certification for that with the GMP and everything. So what CDSU is the governing body in that case, what they have to do is they have given a term of loan licensing. So basically the company or the manufacturing unit which is having that sort of license can loan their license to that particular innovator. So that will be a OEM for that innovator, and that innovator can sell the product, but the manufacturing agency will be that particular one. So these sort of connects also provided by the incubation centers. Anything else?
Manas.
Is there any startup that you incubated few years ago and now it is in the market and you will enjoy?
Have you heard about Cleansma? No. Waterless shampoo?
I guess I've heard.
Cleansma is the one who is making waterless they are in the market. Vizara technology is in the market. So what they are doing is basically they are developing the AR/VR based solution for monuments, for different government initiatives and everything. जितने भी IITs के जो virtual convocations हुए, most of them were handled by the government. And one is your you all saw that drone show on retreat. Yes, what lab dynamics. So there are many companies who are in the market and having the revenue generation skills. But but you cannot identify that all companies will make a name in the market, because for example there is one company named Luminescent. So their revenue is much higher compared to all other incubators, but no one knows that in the local market because they are having a very specific tech development. They work on the silicon wafers, and only the US companies or the very few like ISRO or DRDO are the customers in India for them. So we do not expect the local person to know their names, but yeah, they are doing good. So that completely depends who is your target customer and how you are connected with that particular segment. Anything else? No? So what we will do is, like, we can have a look of the facility. So this is a very recent development we have done. So like this research and innovation park, you have seen that very blue and white combination, right?
Yeah.
Have you seen any PCB board?
Yes.
Multi-layer PCB.
Yeah.
So multi-layer PCB is having the same structure that building is designed. So that was the theme for that building design. So
Okay.
so basically this building is providing 3 floors to incubation centers and 2 floors for the corporates to come here to do their research work, to establish their research centers and everything, so that our existing incubators can also have connect with them, and they do the code development sort of thing. As well as on the ground floor there is one dedicated space with the defense or DRDO center.
DRD.
So DRDO is also developing and testing their products there. So that complete R&I park is developed in such a way that it can provide the industry, academia partnership sort of with the help of startups, corporates, government center of excellencies. So having 2-3 center of excellencies with different industries. So what is the role of those COEs? To provide the consulting services to that particular industry or particular segment, and as well as develop the policies for that particular domain. Yeah, so we can have a look of the complete building. It's not completely ready yet because like we are also operationalizing it. Our labs are yet to be developed. So yeah, we are also developing advanced testing labs and everything. We can have a look for that. We can also meet some of our startups who is here or who is in the different incubation unit. And I can also connect you with some of our program officers so that you can know about more how the programs work and everything, right?
Yes.
So anything else or specific you want to, I can arrange that or I can try to arrange that.
So I have an idea, and but I don't have the required team. So do you provide that?
Yeah. There
Okay.
are also basically there are some programs termed as EIR, Entrepreneurship in Residence. So they are like you have an idea, and from ideation to proof of concept stage, you can go in that program. They provide you some sort of funding also, space and everything, all the mentorship. So you can go from 0 to 1.
0 to 1. Okay. Thank you.
So we can have a look of all these things.
Okay.
Yes, sir. You can discuss.
LG, Samsung, or these companies are having the semiconductor testing facility in India, and that also cannot be used by the different segments. So the startups or the small companies who are working on these areas, they have to send their chips for manufacturing to out of India as well as for the testing. So in this domain, we will be the first one who is having this SOC testing facility in India. So yeah, hopefully in couple of months that will be there. And the next one is we are having one additive manufacturing room and everything. So from like you, if you want to do a reverse engineering and that, so maybe scanning some product and miniaturizing it, or scanning and developing a replica so that you can identify the flaws and everything that can be done there. We are designing with that you can plastic, metal, ceramics, composites, carbon, everything. Yeah, we build this keychain also. So he is Ashwin. He is our 3D printer designer and some sort of these things. Okay. So these are some sort of tolerance for me. Okay, now this one.
What's this exactly?
This is a part of like jewelry design.
So basically इसका main use क्या है, मतलब कि कोई भी प्लास्टिक प्रिंट करना है कि इसके अलावा
So this is the main office.
No, so like this is the having the similar structure for all these things. Like second and third floor we are having where startups, and fourth floor is for the bio startups. So we are having 3 segments.
ओके सर यहाँ पे जो पीछे अभी एक ऑफिस था